We now have Helm Charts available in the Chainguard registry, and I want to do a short video on what they are and how to use them. Now, in case you don't know, Helm is basically the de facto package manager for Kubernetes. So it's the way you can install, manage and configure your Kubernetes applications. And those applications, will be composed of deployments, volumes, CRDs and other config. You've probably used Helm Charts from other sources before, but there may be a few differences with the way you use Chainguard Helm Charts. Most notably, our Helm Charts are only available via cgr.dev, and that's an OCI registry, so you'll be using the OCI methods from Helm. And you'll also need to configure authentication to get access to the registry. But the easiest way to show you this is by jumping straight to an example, so let's hop over to the terminal. So for this example, we have a local Kubernetes cluster that was created with Kind. There's nothing running there. And the first thing we want to do is authenticate to the registry. Now, in your case, it may be that you're copying Chainguard images and Helm Charts to your own registry, or using a pull-through cache, in which case your URLs and authentication is going to look a bit different. I'm going to work through it using the cgr.dev registry, and hopefully yours will be kind of similar. So the first thing I'm going to do is log in to Helm using this syntax. This is reusing the Docker credential helper. Because Helm can just use the OCI methods, we can just use the regular Docker credentials to access the registry. Later on, I'll show you another method using chainCTL to get an access token that you can also use. Okay, so we've logged in to the registry. The first thing we can do is take a look at a chart. So we can run a command like this, which is helm show chart, and then I've given it the path to the chart. Note that we're using OCI : //. So whenever you're using a container registry with Helm Charts, you prefix it with OCI : //. Then cgr.dev, the name of the Chainguard registry, and then our organization. In this case, I'm using the chainguard.edu organization, which is an organization that's internal for my team. And then we've told it we want the PostgreSQL chart, and it's given us back some information on it. You can also use Helm show values to grab the values.yaml, so that's pretty important. That's how you know what you can configure in the Helm chart. So how can we install this chart into our cluster? Well, the first thing we want to do is set up Kubernetes so that it has access to the registry and can actually pull the images. Again, this might look different for you because you'll probably be using your organization's pull-through cache or local registry. So in my case, I'm going to set up chainCTL to create an access token so that I can give it access to the cgr.dev registry. So that's going to do this. I will specify the organization I want. And here we go. So it's giving me the Docker login commands. Basically, we have the username, and somewhere down here is the password. I'm actually going to pull these out to variables. So Helm user equal to and Helm pass equal to. Now this token's only good for 24 hours, so in the case of this video, I'm not worried about you seeing it. Obviously, with your own tokens, please be a little bit more careful. And then we can set up the secret in Kubernetes. So that's going to look like that. And now we can log into Helm in the same way. So rather than using the Docker credential helper, we can use the same password. There you go. And now we're just about there and ready to install, but there is one final thing I want to point out. If you look at the image names in the values.yaml, you'll see that they all reference Chainguard private. So if you look at this, yeah, you see the repository names, all Chainguard private, and that's not going to work for you. So we need to change this Chainguard private to your organization name or whatever path you're using in your registry. In my case, I need to change it to chainguard.edu. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. One way is to create your own values.yaml. So, do the Helm show values.yaml, save that and edit it so it works for your use case and has all the correct names. You can also use -set and just set the org value, which is what I'm going to do here. And I'm also going to set up the Kubernetes secret at the same time. So Helm install PostgreSQL, the path to a registry, and it's global org equal to chainguard.edu and --set. This one's a little bit more complicated, so I'm going to copy and paste it off screen. But this is going to refer to the kubectl secret that we created earlier called chainguard-pool-secret. Okay, so fingers crossed. Well, it's given me something back, so I'm kind of hopeful that's done something. Creating, that looks good. So I've left this for a little while and I've come back to it and we can now see pods running. And if I do subscribe, see a little bit more information on it, including liveness checks, readiness checks, etc. So that all looks pretty good. I can also do Helm status, and that'll tell me a little bit more about it, when it was deployed, etc. So the other thing I want to show you is just digests. When you're using a Helm chart, it's best to install an exact version using a digest rather than just pulling the latest version. It's also, the same goes for any images within the values.yaml. You should really pin those to exact digests. So if you do Helm show chart, what you'll see is the version is pulled, so we can see it's 16.7.14. You can also see the digest, which is based on the contents of the chart. So if that value changes, you know it's a different version of the chart. Okay, so the other way you can get this is you can also do Helm pool, then our chart name, and that will tell you the version and the digest. So now when I do Helm install, at the end of this PostgreSQL line, I can give it this @ and then the digest. And that way I know I'm getting the exact version of the chart that I want. And again, if you do if you look at the values, I will use this version of the chart. I strongly recommend you pin these images to a digest as well. So you'd look up the version of the digest for this and put it in the digest value. Okay, so that's all I want to go through. Please do give the Helm Charts a try out and let me know how you get on.